Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in to my presentation about undergraduate study abroad programs at the Rothberg International School of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump in. Today, we're just going to do a little overview of the program and studying at Hebrew U. Going to just kind of talk a little bit about Jerusalem and the history of Hebrew U. Then I'll kind of dive into different semester and year-long programs that we offer, including, the flagship undergraduate study abroad program, our Spring in Jerusalem honors program, our new STEMester program, along with student life, housing, financial aid, and then of course we'll end with any questions you might have. So a little bit about why study at Hebrew University. Students are able to study in Jerusalem, which is a city very rich with tradition, and it's full of creativity and innovation and lots of diversity. It very much is a melting pot. So there are people from all over the globe who are living there, studying there, working there. And so it is a fascinating city, and you get to study alongside people from all over the globe. So Rothberg International School welcomes about 2,000 international students every year from 90 different countries. So we have people all across the globe coming to study at Hebrew U. And so you're able to make friends with people from everywhere. As a former student, I still am in contact and friends with people who I met from around the world there, from Iceland, China, Korea, Brazil, Uganda, Turkey, Indonesia, Australia, just from everywhere. So it's really great to be able to still be in contact with my friends all these years later. Students are able to also earn college credit at Hebrew University, which is a world-renowned, top-ranked university. Students are also able to explore Israel on different trips and activities that are organized by the Office of Student Life. And then students are also able to go beyond the classroom by doing an internship or a community service option. Those are not required, they're optional, but it's a really great way for students to get more involved in Israeli society. So a little bit about Hebrew University. We were founded in 1918 and opened in 1925, and we are the second oldest university in Israel. We are the top ranked university in Israel, and we are ranked 90th worldwide. Some of our founding members include some of the great 20th century thinkers like Albert Einstein and Sigmund Freud and Chaim Weizmann. So we have a really strong academic legacy, which we are very proud of. We are also home to 8 Nobel laureates, and we do have a decent student population of about 23,000 students, which about 10% of that being students from other countries. So that's kind of a little bit about our university. And then we can talk a little bit about Jerusalem and what it's kind of like studying there. So Jerusalem, it is a city of dichotomies. It is the religious and cultural and political center of Israel. And you have the ancient and the modern kind of living side by side. You have those who are also very traditional and those who are very modern, commingling and coexisting with each other. And so it really is a dynamic and interesting city with something to do all the time. Jerusalem is also centrally located in Israel, so it's very easy to hop on a train or a bus and go to Tel Aviv or go up north to the Galilee area or go south to the Negev area, the desert, and also the Dead Sea. It's about a 30-minute drive to the Dead Sea. So, Jerusalem is really close to kind of everything in Israel. And Israel is a small country to begin with, so you can get around very easily using public transportation. Jerusalem is also home to some of the most historically significant sites. Some of the examples that I've listed are actually in just like 1 square kilometer of each other. So we have the Western Wall, the Temple Mount, the Dome of the Rock, the Mount of Olives, and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, all in a very tiny area. So I've seen all of those sites in like half a day before, so you easily can walk from one to the other. And then Jerusalem's also full of a lot of modern attractions. One of my favorite places is the Mahane Yehuda Market, which is the top photo that you see on the screen. And so by day, it's a great market where you can go and get all of your groceries. And then at night, it turns into a fantastic spot, fantastic nightlife spot. So lots of restaurants and music and bars. And it's just a great place to kind of hang out and meet new people. Israelis are very friendly. They're very curious. So it's really easy to make friends there, especially in a cool setting like the market. You also have a ton of museums, including the Israel Museum. There are festivals throughout the year. And of course, you have the Jerusalem Forest. It's a little small, but it's a great place to kind of go and spend the day hiking or camping. And so those are just some of the small little things to do in Jerusalem, but it is a very fascinating place to live and to study. So going over briefly some of our programs. The first 3 I'll kind of spend a little bit more time on. The semester and year study abroad program, then the spring in Jerusalem honors program, our STEMester, and our dance. And I'll kind of go over those 3, but I briefly wanted to kind of touch on Dance Jerusalem. So this is a great program for students who are dance majors or minors. And so this program is in partnership with the Jerusalem Academy of Music and Dance. And students are able to take the majority of their classes at the academy and then take 1, maybe 2 courses at the Rothberg International School. But students are able to take ballet, modern dance, Gaga. There are a ton of different styles of dancing students can do. And it's kind of the same with Jerusalem Sounds. This is for music majors and minors. And it is also done in partnership with the Jerusalem Academy of Music and Dance. So same kind of format. The majority of the courses are going to be at the academy focused on music. And then students will take a couple of courses at the Rothberg International School. We also have the Art Jerusalem program, which is in partnership with the Bezalel Academy of Arts. So students who are art majors or minors are able to take courses at Bezalel and then take a couple of courses at the Rothberg International School. And we also have a technology and innovation internship program. This program is really great for students who are interested in business and entrepreneurship and would like to kind of get in a high-tech sector. So this is kind of an internship heavy program where the majority of students are interning at either a startup or a high-tech company, and then they'll take some courses in business. They'll do a business seminar and study tour. So that's kind of the makeup of that program. So I'm going to briefly move on to the next slide and highlight our undergraduate study abroad program. So giving an outline of kind of the semester, all of the students have to take a pre-semester Ulpan. So for example, in the fall, students will begin their Ulpan usually at the end of August or beginning of September. And students are able to do a Hebrew Ulpan or to take an Arabic Ulpan. And so that beginner course is kind of foundations of modern standard Arabic. And then students, when the semester begins, they'll be able to continue their language studies. And the language course is about 6 to 7 credits, and then they supplement the rest of their credits with 2 or 3 courses in a variety of subjects. Some of the courses are global studies, Israel studies, political science, religion, Middle Eastern studies. So there are a variety of topics and subjects students can study. And then students are able to do an internship or a community service option if they like. Our students have an option to do one of 2 different types of internships. So we have either a research-based internship, which is worth 3 credits, or we have a non-research-based internship, which is worth 1 credit. So to kind of tell you the difference between the 2, a research-based internship would be an internship for someone who, for example, was a psychology major and they came and they wanted to do a research internship. So we would place them in the psychology department with an internship. So they would be in the lab doing research, working with Hebrew University professors, and conducting experiments, this is really great for students who are interested in maybe going to grad school or PhD program. So they absolutely would do that kind of internship. So it's much more kind of intensive. For students who want to really focus on work experience, they can do a 1 credit internship. And we have 64 different internship sites. And we have an internship coordinator who works with our students with placing them where they would like to go. So some of our non-research-based internships are at different companies, different NGOs, organizations. A few examples, we've had students who've interned with the UN, they've interned at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum, they intern at the Steven Spielberg Film Archive in Jerusalem, the Truman Institute for the Advancement of Peace, a number of media outlets and government think tanks and lobby groups. So there is a huge variety and a lot of different opportunities for students to do internships and get that work experience in addition to the classroom college credit. So it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's no extra charge, like that's included with our tuition. So that's really cool. And also just kind of briefly going over the logistics, students can, they can study for a semester or a year, and the semester lengths, they kind of vary depending on the holidays where they fall, but fall semester generally goes from late August to the end of December, sometimes, maybe beginning of September through early January. And then spring semester typically begins late January and goes until early June. And for students to be eligible, they have to have at least a 3.0 GPA and complete 2 full college semesters. So students are able to, in addition to that, they have to submit their transcripts, 2 academic letters of recommendations, and this needs to be college level letters of recommendation, an essay, your resume, a medical form. You have to have a valid passport, and you have to get have your study abroad office fill out a study abroad approval form. And typically the application deadlines fall somewhere between April 15th and April 30th for the fall semester, and then fall somewhere between November 30th and December 15th for the spring semester. So for spring 2022, our applications are still open, and our deadline is actually December 15th. Okay, Spring in Jerusalem Honors Program. So this program, it is open for juniors and seniors who have at least a 3.7 GPA, and they want to take advanced level courses at other Hebrew University faculties. So you're able to kind of we have a number of undergraduate classes that are taught outside of Rothberg International School at different faculties at the university that are taught in English. And so students are able to take those courses. The dates are January 31st through June 24th, and students will begin with the Ulpan, which is that intensive language program. And then they, take a couple of courses at the other faculties of Hebrew U. They can take an advanced seminar if they want. They can also take courses at Rothberg International School, and they also will participate in Sunday brunch lectures and study tours, which is really a great way for for our students to kind of hear from local business owners and government officials and professors at Hebrew University about relevant topics. And students are able to discuss them, kind of get a greater insight into Israeli society. And, also if students are accepted to the Spring in Jerusalem Honors Program, they receive a $3,000 scholarship, which is fantastic. All right, kind of moving into STEMester. This is a newer program for us, and it's open to juniors and seniors, and it's a research-heavy program. So students will be spending at least 12 hours a week in a lab conducting experiments, doing research, and working on their research paper, which at the end of the semester, they present to Hebrew University faculty, science, STEM professors and faculty, and answer questions about their findings. So it's a really great way for students to get kind of hands-on research experience. And of course, students do begin with the winter Ulpan, and they can supplement the rest of their courses with STEM courses taught at one of the faculties of Hebrew University. A bulk of our STEM courses, which are taught in English, are at the Givat Ram Safra campus, whereas the language and humanities and social science courses at Rothberg are taught at the Mount Scopus campus, but there are shuttles between the campuses that are offered for students. And then students, if they would like to, the semester is only offered during spring semester. So if students want to continue their internship, they can extend it through the summer with an add-on. So if they want to continue doing research and get that additional lab experience, they can do that. Okay, moving into kind of student housing. So all of our students live in the student village, which is located about 1 kilometer from the Mount Scopus campus. Each dorm, it's apartment style dorms. So each apartment has about 5 bedrooms, and they are private bedrooms with a door that locks. So students have their own room. They are not sharing rooms with anybody. And students do share a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, and a bathroom with their apartment, their flatmates. Bedrooms, each individual bedroom, you have a twin size bed, a desk, a closet, a window, a bookshelf, and obviously a chair as well, and a nightstand. So you are able to kind of lock yourself in your room and study if you need to. But of course, you can go and hang out with your roommates in the living room, and you have a kitchen where you can cook. A main difference between Israel and American university kind of experience is that there are no meal plans for American students at Hebrew University. So students, there are plenty of places to eat on campus. There are cafes, there are places where you get pizza and pasta and salads and sushi. And we do have the Frank Sinatra cafeteria for you to get a hot meal if you'd like, all at really reasonable prices. However, dinner or, whenever you're in the apartment, you'll have to cook on your own or, go to a nearby restaurant or the grocery store to grab something. But that's kind of a main difference. The student village, they have laundry facilities, so students are able to do their laundry there. They have computer rooms. There's a mini mart there, so if you want to buy some snacks or different drinks or, food, you can get that there. And then of course we do have the light rail. It's like 5 to 7 minute walk away. And then there are bus stops right outside the entrances to the student village as well. And the student village also has free Wi-Fi and air conditioning, which I think is really great. Being from Houston, I'm a big air conditioning fan. There is also 24/7 security on campus. There are two points of entry and exit for students, and there is a security guard there on call 24/7, monitoring who is going in and out. Students have to show their ID to get into the student village. They also need to show their ID to get onto campus. And then, if you have a guest or a visitor at the student village, the security guard has to check that person's ID, have them sign in, have them provide their contact information, and make sure that they sign out whenever they leave. So they do keep tabs on all visitors. There's also maintenance on call 24/7. So if students have any issues, they're able to contact maintenance and have those issues resolved. And then the Office of Student Life. So our Office of Student Life is really fantastic. So their responsibilities are kind of twofold. So on the one hand, they want to make international students feel very welcome and to build community among all of the undergraduate international students. And they do this by planning events and trips. So events throughout the week. A lot of times they'll plan picnics or hikes and to different parts of Israel, any kind of like different holidays and celebrations. I know they just celebrated Halloween, they celebrate Thanksgiving, they celebrate Hanukkah, Shavuot, Eid al-Fitr for like the end of Ramadan, and then they're having like a Diwali celebration as well. So they try to just include lots of different celebrations for all the students who come there from like 90 different countries. And so, yeah, they just want to build and make sure that, all the international students feel very included and they have a great experience. And then on the other hand, they're there to kind of help students adjust to life in Israel. So any kind of culture shock that students experience, the Office of Student Life is there to kind of help them navigate a new life in Israel, whether it's learning the transportation system, kind of teaching them how to buy things at the grocery store, which may sound silly, but I was that student who went into the grocery store and I was like, what do I do? I can't, what's going on? And so anyways, I felt really silly, but they did help me kind of navigate that. And then of course they have someone on call 24/7. So if a student ever finds themselves in a crisis or needing medical assistance, anything like that, there is someone who's on call and able to assist that student. And so some places, we just want to make sure that we are there to help support students and help them have a great time and enjoy their stay in Israel. Another benefit is that all undergraduate students are able to access our sports center. And so there's a full-size pool, a great aerobic center, a great weight area as well. And there's a cafe and saunas and steam rooms. And so it's it's actually kind of known to be one of the nicest sports facilities in Jerusalem. And so our students have free access to that, which is fantastic. And that's located about a 3-minute walk from the student village. So it's very close by. Okay, visas and quarantines. So this is the reality of what it is right now, but it can be completely different in a month or 2 months because that has kind of been the situation over the past 18 months. Everything is kind of changing. But students are required to have proof of vaccination in order to even get their student visa. So they need to be fully vaccinated to get their student visa. They also have to have a negative PCR test 72 hours before they take their flight to Israel. They need to fill out just a health declaration 24 hours before they arrive in Israel. And then when they arrive in Israel, they take another PCR test. And while they are waiting for those results, they have to go into quarantine. So students now have the choice to quarantine in the dorms or somewhere else, like a hotel. It's honestly, it's easiest just to go and quarantine in the dorms. And then the moment that you get your results back and it's negative, you can exit quarantine. So students generally don't spend more than 24 hours in quarantine. And that's kind of how it is now. So it's definitely a lot easier than maybe it was a year ago when students had to quarantine for 14 days. So now it's just kind of 24 hours and you have your negative test and your proof of vaccination and you are good to go. We do require students to have health insurance. That's always kind of been the case, but now our health insurance, we've upped the level of health insurance that we provide students. And so students, that covers any kind of COVID-19 treatment or booster shots that they might need whenever they are in Israel. So, and briefly kind of talking about financial aid, we do have a lot of different financial aid in-house scholarships and aid for our students. We do have needs-based scholarships through our New York office, and we base that on a student's EFC on their FAFSA. This doesn't like interfere with any kind of, government aid a student might be receiving, but we use the EFC just as our personal gauge. And so students can be eligible for up to $4,000 per semester. We also have a merit scholarship, a pandemic mobility support fund, and this is brand new. And so this is for any students who may have been financially affected by the pandemic. Maybe they lost their job, they have medical bills, maybe a parent lost some employment. So students are able to apply and receive up to $3,000 in aid. And we do have the Spring in Jerusalem Honors Program Scholarship, the Lewis Levine Scholarship, and this is for a student who really is passionate about science and wants to pursue a career in science. We also have the Legacy Scholarship for any student whose parents, grandparents, or siblings have gone to Rothberg or Hebrew U. And then we do have a Diversity Scholarship, which is for $7,500 per semester, and different community and regional scholarships. So for those, this is relevant to Northwestern, who attend school or are from the Chicagoland area are eligible for the Zemsky Scholarship, which is $3,000 for a semester. And I think it's 4 or 5 for if a student studies for an entire year. But if you have any questions about financial aid, Yael Lebedinsky, she is the director of financial aid. And so she's able to answer any and all questions about scholarships and aid. And then my name is Mariah Lamb, and I do admissions and process the applications. So that's kind of our contact information and our website. So if you have any questions, just going to open the floor, and yeah, thanks so much.
I don't think I have any questions, but that was super helpful. So thank you.
Great. All right. Well, if you do have any questions kind of in the future, feel free to shoot me an email. Steph, when are you kind of interested in possibly studying abroad at Hebrew U? Or are you just really just exploring all different options?
So I'm exploring right now. Here, I can turn my camera on. I feel like it's weird with it off. But I'm a sophomore right now, so I'd probably be studying abroad when I'm a junior. And I'm also in the journalism program at Northwestern. And so we have like a built-in sort of quarter away as part of that program. So I'm just sort of like working out all of those like moving parts right now. But I'm super interested in like doing something in the Middle East and in Israel. I'm going on Birthright next year. And so like, it's just definitely an area of interest. So I'm really glad I have your contact information, and I will ask any questions if I have them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're a journalism major and you're interested in the Middle East, Jerusalem is hands down, that's where you need to go. It is so fascinating. And, if you're a journalism major, you're always looking for stories, and you're all like, there's never a dull moment in Jerusalem. So I I was also a journalism major, and I just have to say it was like it's like a journalist paradise there. And so there's just something happening all the time. I'm like, I met John Kerry there. I got to like Vladimir Putin's like motorcade. I was late in going to the market because Vladimir Putin's motorcade had to like go right by my bus. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the closest I ever want to be to Vladimir Putin. And we were there when I was there when Barack Obama came and visited. And so I had some friends who got to go hear him talk. And it was just, it's like nonstop, just so interesting all the time, especially for government and journalism majors. So,
Well,
yes.
thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited. So as soon as I like figure out some other things, I'm definitely going to be emailing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.